You're blocking my seat. Kim Tae-jin looked up from his whiskey. The woman standing before him was stunning. Dark skin glowing under the club lights. Natural hair in perfect coils. Wearing a simple black dress that somehow outshone every designer outfit in his VIP section. But more striking than her beauty was her audacity. No one spoke to him like that, ever. Do you know who I am? His voice was ice. Should I care? She crossed her arms, completely unimpressed. His men tensed, hands moving toward concealed weapons. But Tae-jin raised a hand, stopping them. This woman, this bold, fearless woman, had just done something no one had managed in 5 years. She'd made him feel something, curiosity, interest, a spark of life in his dead soul. What's your name? Maya. Maya Johnson. And you're still in my seat. A dangerous smile tugged at his lips. I own this club. Every seat is mine. Then I guess we'll have to share. She sat down next to him without waiting for permission, grabbing his whiskey and taking a sip. You look like you need better company anyway. These plastic dolls around you are boring. Tae-jin's blood stirred. For the first time in 5 years, he felt alive. The next day, Tae-jin sat in his office with his men. Boss, the woman from last night, should we handle her? Tae-jin's second in command, Min-ho, stood in his office with that look. The look that meant, should we make her disappear? Under normal circumstances, yes. Anyone who disrespected him paid with blood. But Maya Johnson wasn't normal circumstances. No. Find out everything about her. Where she lives, where she works, everything. Sir, with respect, she insulted you in front of the entire club. People are talking. They think you're going soft. Then let them think that. Tae-jin poured himself whiskey at 10 a.m., a new habit since the incident 5 years ago. Just get me the information. When Min-ho left, Tae-jin stared at his reflection in the window. Seoul's most feared Mafia boss. Ruthless, cold-blooded, and untouchable. But he had a secret that would destroy his reputation if it got out. He was broken. Physically, emotionally, and completely. 5 years ago, a rival gang's torture left him unable to perform, unable to feel desire, unable to be a man in the most fundamental way. Doctors said it was psychological trauma, PTSD. His body shutting down to protect his mind from the memories. He'd tried everything. Pills, therapy, other women. Nothing worked. He felt nothing until he met her last night. Maya Johnson had stirred something he thought was dead forever, and that made her either his salvation or his greatest weakness. Are you following me? Maya spun around in the supermarket aisle, glaring at the tall Korean man, casually examining ramyeon like he belonged there. Tae-jin, the cold-eyed club owner from last night, except now he was wearing a simple black hoodie and looked almost normal. Following implies intent. I'm just shopping. He tossed instant noodles into his basket with those elegant hands that probably held guns more than groceries. In Itaewon, at 3 p.m., at the same store I always shop at. What a coincidence. Maya's sarcasm was sharp. I live nearby. You live in Gangnam. Everyone knows that. She started walking away, but he followed, abandoning his basket entirely. Maya, wait. Something in his voice made her stop. Not commanding, not threatening, almost vulnerable. What do you want from me? Tae-jin stepped closer, close enough that she could smell his expensive cologne. Have dinner with me. Tonight. No, she said immediately. Why not? He asked. Because you're dangerous. Because you're probably a criminal. Because every instinct I have says you're bad news. She met his eyes. And because I don't date men who think they can buy everything, including me. I'm not trying to buy you, I'm trying to understand you. His jaw tightened. You did something to me last night. Something I can't explain, and I need to know why. Maya studied him. Behind the cold exterior, She saw something broken, something human. One dinner, public place, and you tell me the truth about who you really are. Deal. The restaurant was expensive, but not obnoxiously so. Tae-jin had chosen, well, elegant, private, but public enough that Maya felt safe. He sat across from her in a tailored suit, looking every bit the dangerous man he was, but his eyes held something she hadn't expected. Fear. You wanted the truth, he said after they ordered. Here it is. I'm the head of the Baekho gang. We control most of Seoul's underground gambling, protection, and imports. I've killed 17 men with my own hands, 23 if you count the ones I ordered to be killed. Maya should have run, should have called the police. Instead, she took a sip of wine. And? She asked. And 5 years ago, a rival gang captured me, tortured me for 3 days. They didn't kill me because death would have been mercy. They wanted me broken. His hands clenched on the table. They succeeded. What do you mean broken? Tae-jin's voice dropped to barely a whisper. I can't. I haven't been able to, with anyone. Since then, it's not physical. The doctors say everything works, but psychologically, he laughed bitterly, I'm impotent. The most powerful man in Seoul's underworld, and I can't even function as a man. Maya's heart twisted. This dangerous, terrifying man looked so human in his shame. Why are you telling me this? Because when you sat next to me last night, for the first time in 5 years, I felt something. Desire, want, and life. His eyes met hers, desperate. You did something no doctor, no pill, no woman could do. You made me feel alive again. After the dinner date, Maya went home and paced her small apartment as she said, This is insane. Her roommate Keisha stared at her like she'd lost her mind. He's a literal mafia boss, Keisha. He's killed people. And he's also clearly got some serious trauma he's dealing with. Keisha, ever the psychology major, was annoyingly rational. Look, I'm not saying date the guy. I'm saying maybe he needs help. Professional help. I'm a nursing student, not a therapist. But you're the first person who made him feel something in 5 years. That's significant, Maya. Trauma that is severe, it rewires the brain, creates walls. And somehow, you got through. Maya stopped pacing. 3 days since that dinner. 3 days of Tae-jin texting her simple things. Good morning. Did you eat? Thinking of you. Not possessive. Not demanding. Just human. Her phone buzzed. My men just stopped an attempt on your life. 3 men were watching your apartment. I've handled it. You're safe now. I'm sorry for bringing danger to your door. If you want me to disappear from your life, I will. Just say the word, TJ. Her blood ran cold. Keisha, call the police. Another text. Don't call police. The men are already gone. No bodies, no evidence, just gone. This is my world, Maya. This is what being close to me means. I understand if you can't handle it. I wouldn't blame you. Maya stared at her phone, hands shaking. Every logical part of her brain screamed to run, to block his number, to move apartments. But something else, something deeper whispered that this broken, dangerous man needed her. She typed, one condition. You see a therapist, a real one. Deal with your trauma properly. I'll help you, but I won't be your only lifeline. His response was immediate. Deal. Thank you, Maya. You have no idea what this means. 2 months passed. Tae-jin kept his word. He started therapy twice a week with a trauma specialist who worked with PTSD patients. Maya met him for coffee every few days, always in public, always safe. They talked about normal things, her nursing studies, his childhood before the gang life, movies, food and dreams. He was different than she expected, intelligent, funny in a dry way, and surprisingly gentle. The more time she spent with him, the more she saw the man beneath the monster. My therapist says, I'm making progress, Tae-jin said one afternoon at a cafe. She thinks the impotence was my body's way of protecting me, shutting down intimacy, because intimacy means vulnerability, and vulnerability almost got me killed. That makes sense. Maya reached across the table, touching his hand. He flinched but didn't pull away. Progress, healing takes time. I don't have time. My position in the gang is being challenged. They say I've gone soft, that I'm weak. His jaw clenched. There's going to be a vote next month. If I lose everything. Possibly my life. Then show them you're not weak. How? I can't even. He looked away, shame written across his face. Strength isn't about sex, Tae-jin. It's about surviving what should have killed you. It's about getting help instead of suffering in silence. It's about being vulnerable enough to change. She squeezed his hand. You're the strongest man I've ever met. And if they can't see that, they're fools. Warmth and hope shifted in his eyes, something that made her pulse quicken. Maya, his phone rang. He glanced at it and cursed. I have to go. Emergency. Be safe, Maya. He hesitated, then leaned down and kissed her forehead. Brief, gentle, and electric. When he left, Maya touched her forehead where his lips had been, her heart racing. She was falling for him. God help her. She was falling for a Mafia boss. The call came at 2 a.m. Unknown number. Maya almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Maya Johnson? A cold voice. Not Tae-jin. You have 10 minutes to get to the warehouse on Pier 7. Come alone, or we start mailing Kim Tae-jin back to his gang in pieces. The line went dead. Maya's hands shook as she threw on clothes. Should she call the police? Should she call Tae-jin's men? Should she do anything except what she was about to do? But the voice had been serious. They had him. They were going to kill him. The warehouse was exactly where horror movies happened. Dark, abandoned, smelling of rust and blood. Maya found Tae-jin tied to a chair, blood running down his face, surrounded by 5 men with guns. Well, the little nurse actually came. The leader, a scarred man with dead eyes, smiled. Kim Tae-jin, the great Baekho boss, brought down by a woman. How poetic. Let him go. Maya's voice shook but held firm. Why would we do that? He's weak now. Soft, not fit to lead. We're taking over the Baekho gang, starting with killing him. No. Maya stepped forward. You want to know why he's been different? Why he's been seeing a therapist? It's because he's healing from trauma your kind inflicted. He's not weak. He's surviving. And that takes more strength than any of you will ever have. The leader laughed. Pretty speech. Shame it won't save him. He raised his gun toward Tae-jin's head. Maya didn't think. She lunged forward, putting herself between the gun and Tae-jin. You'll have to kill me first. Maya. No. Tae-jin's voice was raw with fear. Real fear. Not for himself. For her. The leader's finger tightened on the trigger. Then the warehouse exploded with gunfire. Minho and 20 Baekho soldiers stormed in like an avenging army. The rival gang members went down in seconds. Maya hit the floor, covering her head as bullets flew overhead. When the gunfire stopped, Minho was cutting Tae-jin free. Boss, are you? But Tae-jin wasn't looking at his men. He was looking at Maya, his eyes wide with something between terror and awe. You stepped in front of a gun. For me. Yeah, well, Maya stood on shaky legs. Seemed like the thing to do at the time. Can we maybe discuss my terrible life choices somewhere that's not covered in blood? Despite everything, the pain, the blood, the near-death experience, Tae-jin laughed. Actually laughed. A real, genuine sound that made his men stare in shock. Boss? Minho looked confused. Are you okay? I'm perfect. Tae-jin stood, ignoring his injuries, and pulled Maya into his arms. I'm absolutely perfect. Later, at his penthouse, After the doctors checked him over and declared him miraculously not seriously injured, Taejin found Maya on his balcony, staring at Seoul's glittering skyline. "You should be furious with me," he said quietly. "I brought this danger into your life. You almost died because of me. I chose to be there. I chose you." She turned to face him. "And I'd do it again." "Why? I'm a criminal, a killer, a broken man. You're also brave, and trying to heal, and the first man who's ever looked at me like I'm his whole world." She stepped closer. "I love you, Taejin. I know it's crazy. I know it's stupid, but I love you." "Maya," his voice cracked. "I love you too, so much it terrifies me." He kissed her then, soft at first, then desperate, and for the first time in 5 years, Kim Tae-jin felt desire flood his body like a tsunami. He was whole again. 3 months later, Tae-jin stood before the Baekho Council. Every major player in his organization sat around the table, judging him. His second-in-command, Manhood, had called this meeting, but not to challenge him, to support him. "Brothers," Manhood began, "there's been talk that our boss has gone soft, that love has made him weak. I'm here to tell you, you're all idiots." Shocked murmurs rippled through the room. "In the past 3 months, Boss Kim has reorganized our operations, eliminated 2 rival gangs, and increased our profits by 40%. He's been sharper, more focused, more strategic than ever. Why? Because he's not carrying his trauma anymore. Because he got help. Because he found something worth fighting for beyond just survival." Taejin stood. "I won't lie to you. I was broken. What happened 5 years ago nearly destroyed me. But I'm not ashamed of getting help. I'm not ashamed of falling in love. If that makes me weak in your eyes, then vote me out. But know this, I'm the best leader this gang has ever had, and I'm not going anywhere." The room was silent. Then, one by one, every man stood and bowed. Respect, loyalty, and acceptance. Manhood grinned. "All in favor of Boss Kim remaining our leader?" Every hand raised. Later, Taejin found Maya at her apartment, studying for finals. He had a small box in his pocket and a speech prepared. But when she looked up at him with those warm eyes, all his carefully chosen words disappeared. "Marry me." Maya blinked. "What?" "I know it's fast. I know it's crazy. I know I'm a criminal and you're a nurse, and we make no sense on paper. But you saved my life in every way a person can be saved. So marry me. Please." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "You're right. This is crazy. We've only known each other 5 months. You're literally in the Mafia. Is that a no?" "It's a yes, you idiot." She laughed through tears. "It's a yes." 1 year later, Maya stood in Taejin's penthouse, their penthouse now holding a positive pregnancy test. Her hands shook. This wasn't planned. She was still finishing her nursing degree. He was still running a criminal empire. A baby complicated everything. The door opened. Taejin walked in, saw her expression, saw the test, and froze. "I know this is terrible timing," Maya started. "I know we said we'd wait until we're having a baby." His voice was filled with wonder. He crossed the room in 3 strides and pulled her into his arms. "We're having a baby. You're not upset?" "Upset? Maya, you've given me everything. You gave me back my life, my humanity, my ability to feel, and now you're giving me a family." He kissed her deeply. "I'm the luckiest man alive." "You're still a criminal." "Working on that, actually." He grinned. "Minho and I have been transitioning the business, going legitimate. Real estate, restaurants, imports, all legal. It'll take a few years, but by the time our child is old enough to ask what daddy does for a living, I'll have a real answer." "You're really doing that? Leaving the gang life? For you, for our baby, for the future we're building." He placed his hand on her still flat stomach. "I want to be a good father, a good husband, a good man." And I can't be any of those things if I'm still running an empire built on violence. Maya's tears spilled over. I love you so much. I love you more. He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. Thank you for not running away when you saw the monster. Thank you for seeing the man underneath. Thank you for saving me. We saved each other, Maya whispered. And she was right. Kim Tae-jin had given her a love deeper than she'd ever imagined. And Maya Johnson had given him something even more precious. She'd given him back his humanity, his heart, and his life. The broken mafia boss and the bold black woman who healed him. It shouldn't have worked. But somehow, impossibly, it was the most perfect love story Seoul had ever seen. The moral lesson of this story is that trauma doesn't make someone unworthy of love. It makes them human. True strength isn't about never breaking. It's about having the courage to heal.